talk to you today in regards to and about something that is wildly important when it comes to running a business. And I want to start with, if you're watching this in a replay, please send in the comment field hashtag replay or just replay so that we know that you're watching uh, in advance, or no, on the contrary, not in advance, but on the back end, so you're watching this replay. What we're going to talk about today is so important, and I am super excited to do so for a few different reasons. That is, without this, you will work completely blindfolded and have no idea what you're doing, and that you're doing all the right things that leads you to the outcome that you desire in your business. And I want to take care of one thing before we start. We're going to talk about numbers. And if you feel like, oh shit, numbers, that is not my thing, I want you to just shake that off for a second, because we're not going to talk about anything that's difficult. But we're going to talk about something that you need to know in order to run your business. And we're going to talk about a term that is called KPIs, which stands for key performing indicators. So key performing indicators simply means that we need to know what are the things that I'm doing that is performing and giving an indication that I'm moving in a desired heading, in a desired angle, or towards something that I really want. So KPIs is used all over in business, but I want to talk to you about what's specifically most important for coaches. So if you're watching live, please drop in the chat that you're watching, say hello, or give a little something that allows for me to see that you're following along. It would be amazing. So I have made a drawing that is not designed to be pretty, but it's designed to send a message. And I want to start with this. Know your numbers. Know your numbers in terms of being able to build a business that is highly functional. We need to understand a few different key things. So in the beginning, we have a start somewhere where we decide that we're going to start and we're going to run a business, and we're gonna have to invest enough to get started on the journey, and we need to have a target in mind. What's the outcome that I'm looking for? That's the first thing. What's the purpose of me doing this? Am I doing this with conditions? I will only do this as long as it's a simple journey. That's not a good condition, because life in itself isn't a simple journey. Why would business be? On the contrary, it's rather that business is kind of a thing to master, but it's well worth it. So when we start out, it's important that we are getting the foundations right. And when we get the foundations right, and when we know that the things that I'm doing is producing results, we want to look towards, how do I grow this thing? And then we want to look in the fourth step towards, how do I scale this thing for myself, so that I can, and I would like to the foundation. I bet that you understand or get an idea of what foundation means. It means like doing the base work. How do I do X and get Y as an outcome from that action being taken? But when we're looking at growth, I would like to distinguish growth is more input equals more output, which means you work harder, you get more results. But that is not the case with scaling. With scaling, we're looking for same input or less input, and we're looking for more results, more output. And that's a huge distinction, which means that scaling a business is something that very, very few companies ever gets involved with. Very few companies ever looks towards scaling their business or their businesses. And in terms of getting a grasp on this, I would like to just this is how we have written it out, and we are starting coaches. We've done this with more than 3,500 coaches today. Sorry, blunder on me. 2,500 coaches in our challenge. We have a 5-day challenge, and that is designed to start people up. And this is just in terms of making sure that we get the foundation right in order to go into the business numbers, and why it's so wildly important. Which means that the 5-day challenge is designed for people that are on 0K, which means that they haven't made any money yet. And then we're looking at foundation. We've built something that we called DTL, that stands for Dream to Lifestyle, that is purely designed to help new coaches go from 0 to 10,000 euros. And I will explain in just a little while why this is important. This is not anything but just getting you to understand where to focus in your own business. Because I have zero interest in anything but giving you this training as well as I can. That's why I've done it in the way that I can. I'm just going to trust, since this is a live video, that you're okay with it. Because we need to do different things when we're building out our foundation. We need to do different things when we start out in order to get the right things done, to focus on the right things. And then when it comes to growth, we have something that we call top 1%, and that's designed to go from 10,000 euros to 1 million euros. That's what the training is including, and what we're actually focusing on. And when it comes to scale, we have something that we call Summit, that takes care of the journey north of 1 million euros. So 1 million plus. Then is when we're starting to scale it. And why this is important for in the sake of this training is because I want to specify a few different things. First of all, importance of where am I and where am I not? Because as we're building out our foundation, as we're growing our business, as we're scaling, very different things needs to apply. And when you're growing your business, it means we need to put in more input in order to get more output. When we scale, we want to look for how can I put same input or less input for a bigger output. But when we're starting out, we're looking for how can I establish a foundation that works for me. And this is what I want to break down for you. So if you feel that know your numbers scares you because numbers are not a friend of yours, I just want to rest assured, we're going to do stupid simple stuff over here. Because the thing is, if we were to look out into what's going on out there, we can see that 96% of businesses, of coaches, will fail. 96% of coaches will fail. And then we can wonder how come. And we could go back to the training that was produced in this group last week, where we're talking about letting go of our internal struggle. What is the difference between having a strategy and really implementing that strategy? And how can we be held back in order to really execute those things that will give us what we want in our business? So but the fact is 96% of businesses fail. And it's for one simple reason only. It's because they didn't invest enough to figure out how to attract new leads into their business, to have people interested in what we can help with and how. They didn't master how to convert that interest into actual clients. And they didn't know how to coach people and to help them get results. If this makes sense, if I can get more people interested, if I can sell to more people and coach them to better results, if this makes sense to you, please write sense in the chat, because that is the start of this. And I will go through everything that stands around it. When we're taking a deep dive into this and we're looking, so which one is most important depending on where we're at? So if we were to, most people say, yeah, I'm going to be a better coach because if I become a better coach, I can help more people. Well, yeah, in theory, you're right. If you're a better coach, but how do you become a better coach? You become a better coach by doing the work, putting in the hours, really perfecting and mastering the skills and building out your genius. That is the way that we really become better as coaches. But we will never have that opportunity because it doesn't matter how many coaching educations we take or how many hours we put into learning about coaching if we don't also put it to work. So where most people actually struggle without knowing it in terms of knowing your numbers is within this one, attracting new people into your world to see and find out how you can help them. And when we are looking for an outcome that we desire in our business, for an example, that we want our business to support our lifestyle, which means that we want to live off our business, not have a side hustle or a 9 to 5 job, then we're starting to look for at these 3% up here, because there are 3% of coaches out there that can actually live off their business. It doesn't mean that they live well, but it provides for everything that they need. It gives them the paycheck that they need so that they can pay for all of their personal, like, finance stuff. But there is only 1%, 1% that really thrives in their business, and that's important. What is the difference between the 96% and the top 4%? It's knowing, attract, convert, coach. The difference between this 1% over here is dedicating themselves with a purpose, not knowing, attract, convert, coach, but mastering it. Really getting into the deep stuff of understanding in what way can I act and behave that gives me the desired outcome that I'm looking for. So I'm gonna draw you a picture of what are the most important key performing indicators for your business so that you can work with some numbers. But we're gonna start with looking at all of these. I'm gonna start with the coach one, because it concludes and three different things that we want to measure. But we don't need to measure this unless we have at least 50 or maybe even 75 clients or more, because you can do this on your own with less than 50 clients. So this is not something that you will focus on until you're starting to really grow your business and you're with a substantial number of clients. But what we want to measure as KPIs in our business is we want to measure actions taken of clients. How do I measure that the clients are taking the actions needed in order to get the outcome they desire? But we also want to cross measure what results and what outcomes are they producing for themselves. What results and outcomes are they producing for themselves? And the last thing that we want to measure is state and target. And what that means is state and target over time. State equals how we're doing, how we're feeling, and how this, in this case, the client is doing within the program. So over time, how does the state differ? How does it change? And over time, what does their goal differ or change? Is their target different? So anyone can join your program and say, hey, I want to do this thing. I want to conquer the world. I want to be the best in the world at this thing. And then while being in your program, learning what it will take and what we will understand, their target or their goal might differ a little bit. On bottom row, that's perfect, because we never want to alter our clients' outcomes. If they want a different outcome, then that's 100%. So if we're going back here, we want to measure actions they're taking, results they're getting, and state and target over time. But we're going to put a pause on that, because we don't need to do that as we're starting up. 50 or 75 clients in, then we can start to see what we can do. You can do simple spreadsheets just to follow up on like key things that you think is important. Even if you have fewer clients, that's fine. But the deal breaker will be how you deal with these two: attract and convert. And the first thing we want to know is that we want to measure in numbers the message that I'm using. Is it reaching the people that I want to reach? And you might say that that could be a binary thing where there is either yes, it does, or no, it doesn't. If it doesn't, then we need to alter our message. That's clear. But if the answer is yes, it reaches the people, then the question is how many? How effectively? How much listening do we have out there? And one of the most important parts for coaches is that we build authority that helps you become be the voice of the thing that you're helping your clients to achieve. So for me, I'm a coach for coaches. I'm very conditioned in looking for how can I make sure that the coaches that I speak to understands that I have something that could really help them. Because without it, I wouldn't have authority. I wouldn't have the right to speak. So key, authority, building authority and working out the message so that the message is not only, yeah, I reach some people that I like. How effectively? If I were to raise my voice and talk more, would the message be heard by more people? And I'm not talking about building ads or advanced stuff. I'm actually just talking about, am I using a message that speaks to the target market that I want to help? And to what, like with what volume? When we come so far, then we want to measure, so content. How do I produce value for people to take part of? How do I produce value for people to take part of, so that I can see, and how frequently, on how many platforms? Because let's face it, the just like three biggest ones, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, two huge platforms. Should you be on all of them? Should you post content every day? Absolutely not. You're going to be so off. You're going to lose all of your focus, and you're not going to produce the outcome that you want, because your focus is going to be split, and you're going to be overwhelmed, and you're not going to produce results. So we say, up until you've reached your at least 500,000 euros in your business, focus on one platform and focus on consciously made content. And I'm going to speak about what I like. I'm going to help you, give you some benchmarks of how we teach our clients during this, to see that we can reverse engineer this machinery. What that means is, how can I look for the amount of money I want to earn, and then reverse engineer it down to the action I'm doing per day. If this sounds valuable for you, please write valuable in the chat, so that I know that we're speaking about the right things when we're doing this. And I'm also going to finish this live with a calculator that I created that helps you map this out for yourself, so that you can see different outcomes depending on what you want to achieve for yourself in your business. I'm going to get back to that. So if we're going here, content, how do I produce content that is being exposed to the right people in the right way? And then we want to measure engagement. Do I get engagement on the post? Do people interact with the content that I produce? And all of them sticks together: having the right message, doing the right content, getting engagement. And if we get engagement from the right people, then it's the attraction part is starting to fulfill its purpose, because then we're starting to go towards the next conversation about, I'm providing some value to people that needs my help, and that value that I produced for them, now that can help them with something else. Now that can help them to produce some real physical or actual results for themselves. So we want to figure out, how can I help? How can I serve? And that's the mindset when we're going into conversion, looking for, how can I help the right people achieve something that is widely important for them, because that's the only reason why we want to take someone on as a client. And I promise you, there is more than enough for everyone, but it needs to be a conscious thing. We need to be aware of what KPIs, what things am I actually measuring as I'm producing this. So let's go to the next, because when we have people that are interested, we want to look into, how can we measure conversion? And then we want to measure and use KPIs in terms of conversations. How many conversations am I having with people? And in the beginning, it might be us. Like, it might be like myself that has the conversations, or it might be you. But in the future, it might be part of your team. It might be someone that works with you in terms of fulfilling the business's purpose, helping more people. And then we want to count how many sales calls is produced due to those conversations that we had. So we had conversations, nice. How many sales calls does these produce? And when we can count how many sales calls they're producing, then we can count how many clients are coming out of the sales calls, which means how many people are actually saying yes to my proposal or my offer. So we can go down and we can see that all of this is super important to understand. And it's the difference why 96% of businesses fail and only 4% succeed. And only 1% decides for themselves to master these three different things in order to have a business that can provide for them, like, and their entire lifestyle, and not just the current lifestyle, but the lifestyle that we're going to have in the future. So let's see if we're putting some numbers into this to make sense out of it. So I appreciate you hanging along. I see that we have a bunch of people looking live, crossover different Facebook groups. So I appreciate you for being here. Please write in the chat what you are measuring in your business right now. Where do you send your own focus in terms of creating results for yourself? That would be a cool thing for me to know. And if you jump on middle of the slide, please say hello. If it's the case that you're watching this recording, thank you for sticking along. Let's look at what this means in terms of numbers. So let's say that we are setting a goal for ourselves. Let's say that we want to make 120,000 euros per year, which is an average of 10,000 euros per month. So if we have a goal that I want to make 120,000 euros per year, that is something that absolutely can take care of personal interests. Then we want to look, what would that mean? Then we want to look for an example, how well or how much do my clients invest in my program? And if your answer is, yeah, I'm selling a program for 49 euros, yeah, then this number is going to take a lot of clients to reach. I'm not going to say that you're doing the wrong things, but if you want to work with someone and really create a breakthrough result for them, I would say that it's better to work with quality rather than quantity. So if you, let's say that you want to work with, you want to earn 120,000 euros a year in your business, which is 10,000 euros per month. We need to look for, okay, 10,000 euros, that's my goal. 10,000 euros is what I want to achieve. Now, how do I know that the things that I'm doing are going to give me those 10,000 at the end of this journey? First of all, we need to look for how many clients do I need in order to get 10,000 euros. And when I'm looking at my own clients, we are helping them and teaching them to build a program that they can sell for at least, like, that is worth 3,000 euros. But I'm not going to say that everyone is going to start out on 3,000 euros, but everyone could easily build something that they could sell to people for 2,000 euros. So if we have a program, sorry about that, I'm going to move this. If we have a program that is priced at 2,000 euros, what we want to do then is see how many 2,000 do I need in order to get 10,000. I need 5 people, 5 clients saying, yep, I want to invest my coaching in you. Then that's a KPI. This is a KPI. This is the average that I've set. This is a KPI that says I need, in order for me to reach those 10,000, I need 5 new clients. And then we need to see how many sales calls do I need to do and have in order to get those 5 clients. And here is where we need to know our numbers, because it's different for each and every one of us. We are teaching our clients to do this process and gain up to 50% conversion on the sales calls. And if it's below 40%, then we are triggered and seeing something is wrong with this. We need to change and alter something in order to update this so that you get a higher conversion rate. It either means that you're talking to the wrong person that you can't help, or that isn't interested, like that isn't a perfect fit for your program, or it could be something else. But we need to build something, and we need to be as effective as we can to see that we can have up to a 50% conversion rate. You can absolutely have more as well, but 50% is a good thing to aim for. That would mean that we need 10 sales calls. So then that would mean down here on the sales calls, we need 10 sales calls in order to get these 5 clients. Because then we know if I produce 10 sales calls in a month, I will get my 5 clients. Those 5 clients will pay these 2,000, and I will then ultimately make my 10,000 euros. I bet that this is simple enough for you. So if this makes sense, please write sense in the chat. If I have 10 sales calls, if I sell to half of them and I get 5 new clients and each client pays 2,000, I'll get my 10,000 euros a month. And let's say that I am not closing 50%. Let's say that I'm closing 25%. Then the numbers changes. Then I can't have 10 sales calls. Then I need 20 sales calls in order to get my 5 clients. It's only based on the statistics that comes from me, the statistics that I know because I am a part of my business and I have been the one performing. Appreciate you checking in, Sani. Good to see you. So we have our 20 sales calls or 10 sales calls. It all differs in terms of how well do I convert in percent. And if you're above 30%, then you're doing okay. If you are on 50%, I would say that you are good, and my face is in the way. So I'm going to take my face out for a second. So if you're doing 50%, then I would say that you're good. You're in good hands. You're doing the right things. So let's get back to the numbers that we're speaking of. So how do we create those 10 sales calls? How do I do and how do I behave to get the outcome of having 10 sales calls in my calendar? The 10 sales calls is created due to the relationship that I am capable of building. What that means ultimately is we need to build real and authentic relationships with those we are seeing that we can help and that consumes our value and they're getting value out of the content that we produce. So we consciously we need to be aware of that the thing that I'm doing is providing value, and when I'm providing value, I'm getting interactions with people. I get to know people. Those people I want to get to know deeper. And that is when we're starting to measure conversations, and then we help them to see them through that a phone call would be the very best next step in order to get them towards what they want. And we're only providing help in this part. And it's crucial that we have a strategy that does this without being pushy, without being a pleaser, getting into the friend zone, without curling people or without being a sucker for their situation, but rather being committed in seeing, can I help you? And if I can, what would it take and how does that look? Taking your business's interest in making sure that we commit into the service of helping people. That is what coaching is all about. If we can't get ourselves to that place, we are going to struggle. But the good thing about it is that coaches overall, all over, and if I'm saying something that doesn't agree with you, then let me know in the chat, because I know that I won't get anyone objecting. You're a coach because you like to help people. It's the same for all of us. And that's great. But in order for you to build a business, you can't do it on intention alone. You need to be committed, and you need to see and cut through your own bullshit, and perhaps also some bullshit out there in the noise, to get through and serve people. So commit to service. So that's the conversations that we want to have. And let's say that in order for me to get these 10 sales calls, let's say that I need 15 conversations to get one sales call. Let's say that I need 20 conversations to get one sales call. Let's do that instead, because we don't want to create a happy pancake like formula here. We want to do something that actually works from start to end. So if we're looking, let's say that one sales call, strategy session or sales call or whatever, equals 20 conversations. Then we can know that if I want to have 10 sales calls and every sales call takes 20 conversations, I need to have 200 conversations down here. 200 conversations down here in a month. In a month. And this is not a full-time job. This is not a half-time job either. This is a pretty simple thing, because if we break it down into how many conversations you need to have per day, yeah, it's doable, and it's doable with loads of room to spare in terms of time and your calendar. So 200 conversations in a month. Let's say that is our KPI. Now we're starting to get some really great numbers for ourselves, because here is where we can see and start asking ourselves the intelligent question: what do I need to do in order to produce this outcome? What do I need to do in order to get X? So in this case, how do I start the 200 conversations this month with potential clients? And then we can start to look, how do we reach people? And then we can look at content, which is the next step, which is the thing that we talked about when we were going through this. If you have jumped on during this recording, please go in and watch the beginning of this so that you get all of it. So let's see that we need to look at what kind of value do I need to produce in order to get this outcome. And I'm going to tell you that you don't want to make more than 16 pieces of content a month. That's a KPI that I'm going to give you, because that's all that you need. Which means if you're creating 16 pieces of content each month, your desire is to see that those 16 pieces of content produces an opening for 200 conversations. And those 200 conversations is supposed to generate 10 sales calls. And those 10 sales calls is supposed to produce 5 new clients. And those 5 new clients is supposed to generate 10,000 euros into my business. And here we have something that is guided by numbers rather than wishful thinking or something that I would like. And to me right now, the most crucial thing isn't that I get whatever I can say said, but rather what question appears for you right now. Like, you can easily pause this video if you're not in the live recording right now, but what question would you benefit from asking right now that you could get answered from us and actually move forward with your purpose of running your business? That would be so cool if we could do that. But bottom line is this: if we don't know what action produce what follow-up action or what follow-up outcome, then we will work blindfolded. And if you have no idea on how to do this, then please hang around in this group, because we have loads and loads of content that could actually help you get going. Even more importantly, we have a free 5-day challenge where we work with you completely free, where we can help you get this started up, because this is our purpose of what we are doing. And it's such a pleasure having you in the group. We like appreciate you a lot, and if we can serve you and help you, we are going to, all the time, every time. So what question turns up for you? And the last thing that I promised that I would say, if you would like a calculator that goes in and produces this picture for you, where you can put in your own numbers and see how it differs, starting out, how much do I want to make in a year? And then it calculates for you how your outcome would be. Write KPI, a big K and then a P and then an I in the comment field, and I will make sure that I or Sani or someone that is faster than me and Sani will send it to you very, very fast, so that you can get that calculator and start counting on your numbers in your business to get to where you want to go. For me, this is all that I want to go through on this particular live training. And please write in the chat, what do you take away? What's most important? What question would help you or benefit you if it got asked right now? Until we meet again, appreciate you. Take care. Bye.